Hello and welcome back to the channel, Cali Legends Media. First of all, I want to thank all the subscribers for your support. Thank you very much, okay? Especially your new subscribers. And don't forget, hit that like button. If you like the video, hype it. And it helps us content creators move our videos through the algorithm, okay? And also, one last thing. We're trying to hit 100,000 views. 10,000 subscribers for before the end of the year. So if you could help with that, really appreciate it. Share the videos, tell a friend, whatever we got to do. Let's make that goal to 10,000 by the end of this year. Okay, all that being said, I want to talk about something that Joshua's mom mentioned in her presentation on YouTube, okay? And this is what it was. You don't need to go to prison to learn how to move in excellence. You don't need to go to prison to learn the valuable things in life, okay? And it really hit me when I seen the video once again last night, and I paid attention because I'm moving right now, okay? A lot of things are that need to get done are getting done little by little, and it's a lot of work for me. I even hired somebody to help me. Well, this person that I hired was with me last night with me, him, and my wife, and we were going to go and get something to eat after a hard day's work. You know, I told him, what he wanted to eat. He said he wanted some tacos. So I don't have no cash in my pocket. My wife says, take me to the bank. I got it. Don't trip. Or go to an ATM. I said, all right. I took her to the ATM at a neighborhood store. She goes in, gets the money, and I yell at her, get me a beer. So she brings me out a beer. As soon as she got in the car, I popped it open, and we took off to go get the tacos, right? Well, where we went to go get the tacos was closed, so we're going to hit another place, and we went down Whittier Boulevard. As I was driving down Whittier Boulevard, there was a car in front of me that slowed up to make a left turn. And there was no cars coming. There was no car in front of him. There was no reason for him not to continue making that turn. And he was lagging. So I went around him, and the light turned yellow, and I sped up and took off to where I was headed. What we decided on was to just go to Numero Uno, I think they call it Superior now, Market, and just go get some ribeye, go home, make ribeye steaks with some tortillas, rice, and beans. So we pull up to the market. I make a right turn to go into the driveway. And as I make the right turn, it was either my wife or the guy in the back, my worker, that said, hey, I think they're behind us. I think they're following us. And I was thinking maybe it was an enemy, an op, somebody that my friend knew I had pedo with, okay? So as we made the turn, I go, what is it? Is it a cop? Is it a highway patrol? Is it just a person? Or, I didn't notice him. They said, I don't know. I can't tell if it's a highway patrol or the sheriff's. When I looked in my mirror, all I could see was the top of the car, the black vehicle with the grill. That's all I could see. So I make a left. Now we're going into the parking lot, and it pulls up quick, like it sped up, pulled up behind me and lit me up, right? I'm like, oh man, I have the beer from the liquor store, right? I'm like, shit, what am I gonna do? I handed the beer to the dude in the back, and I told him, here, just hide it behind you, like, stash it, right? My wife says, no, don't do that. Just pour it out. I go, no, you can't pour it out. It's going to smell like beer. We're having this argument, this discussion. and I tell her, just stash it, About this time, the sheriff got impatient, ended up being a sheriff. He got impatient. He got on his mic and he said, pull over now. Well, I went down about half the lane to get to the handicap parking, and I pulled in. I shut off the car, and normal program. One came on the right, one came on the left, and he says, "Hey, you ran the red light back there, and you have a tail light that's out." We weren't in my car. We were in my wife's. The one my wife drives, the white BMW, right? So I don't know that the light's off. I didn't know that she was having problems with her lights. She wasn't even aware of it. But what really bothered me was him telling me that I ran a red. And I asked him, I go, did I go through the red? Because if they tell me, yeah, you did, then I'm not going to argue the point, And both of them were like, I don't know. I don't know. I thought you made it through. So he says, I'm going to need all of your IDs. Okay. And the dude in the back says, what do you need our IDs for? He says, well, because there's an open container in the car. And for that reason, I'm asking for IDs, Let's forget about going through the red light and stuff, but I need an ID. I need to see all your IDs because you guys are driving with an open container in the car, right? And my friend says, well, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't drinking it. I was just holding it. He goes, what do you mean? And I told the sheriff, I says, he was just holding it for me. I handed it to him and I told him, here, hold that for me. And so I give him an ID, my wife gives him her ID, and homie's still arguing the point about the ID, right? So he tells him he don't have an ID. What he doesn't have is anything to keep him here in the United States. They will take him if there were ICE, Sheriff's probably, they're not going to care. But this dude, he's here when he's not supposed to be, right? So anyways, but he's getting bravo, and I tell him, every time he says something to the sheriff, I tell him, hey, kick back, fool. It's not that kind of party, man. Everything's going to be all right. These are the East LA sheriffs. It's not highway patrol, So dude starts asking me some questions, and one of the things he asked me was, he goes, hey, aren't you Sleepy's brother? And I tell him, nah. I says, I always hear that from you guys. Just that whenever we got pulled over, he would say that we were brothers, but no, we're not related by blood. We're only homies, very close homies. He's my brother, just being a different kind of brotherhood, And they go, all right. Yeah, it's messed up what happened to him. I says, yeah. Now, Sleepy's brother is a East LA sheriff, okay? So I asked this dude, I'm standing here in my window, I goes, hey, so what's up, man? Did you guys got any leads or anything? Like you tracking down this fool that shot my homie or what? And he goes, no. He says, that I'm not working on that case, so I really don't know. He goes, wait up. And he goes in, he takes off, and he goes back to his vehicle, right? And he comes back, and he gives me my ID, my wife's ID and stuff. And my friend's discussing his ID issue with the officer that came on the right side of the car. So the officer that gave me back the IDs, he tells me, he goes, hey, I know who you are. And I go, oh, do you? And he goes, yeah, you're the dude that drives a green Jaguar. I said, what? He says, yeah, I see you all the time. I see you all over the neighborhood. So what are you doing? You're just driving around the neighborhood constantly. What, you looking for? You're looking for somebody or what? And I says, no. I says, you know, I'm just kicking it, driving, looking for some shade, probably to pull up in some shade to do a video or something. He goes, a video? I says, yeah. I got this channel, Cali Legends Media, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he said, oh, all right, all right. And he goes back to the car. He takes a minute, and then his partner on the right-hand side of the car takes off. And then from the vehicle, he yells out, hey, just throw the beer away. And you guys go ahead and take off, right? So my wife goes in, gets the steaks, gets what she needs. And yeah, they let us go. Later on that night, I seen a video with Homie Hangout's mom. And in the thing that she said, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, was you don't need to go to jail to learn how to move in excellence, you know. It's something you could learn out here, you know. And that made me think, like, yeah, you know, I ain't moving right, you know. I took grabbing a beer lightly and figure, hey, I'm gonna go get some food and I'm enjoying my beer, some music, and you know, we're gonna go get food. Without thinking about if I get pulled over with an open container, plus I had a couple of beers during the day, who knows what my blood level would, alcohol level would come back when I blew on it, right? On that machine. And I know better. I know better than that, you know. And I was thinking about what she said, and I shouldn't have to almost get arrested. If they would have took me in for driving under the influence, it would have screwed everything up that I have going right now. You know, me and my wife are moving. We just did a bunch of work to the new house. You know, the whole house was painted, floors were stripped, and clear was laid over and stuff. And, you know, we've been packing everything. Now, if I would have got incarcerated, my wife couldn't undertake all of that on her own. You know what I mean? And even later on during the night, my wife comes in the front room and sits down next to me, and she says, you know, I really like the house that you got me. Thank you so much. You know, I think I'm going to be very happy there, she says. And I go, that's good, Mia, that's good, I'm glad. She goes, but you know what, Steve, it'll be nothing without you being there. You know, it would mean nothing. So be careful what you do, you know. And you know, you might not think that what you're doing is that big of a deal, but if there's a possibility to land you behind bars, then maybe you shouldn't do it, you know. So, because if you leave me out here, I'm not gonna have nobody to help me, you know. I depend on you for these things, you know, and because honestly, we depend on each other. That's who. Who we got each other, you know what I mean? That's who we count on each other, you know. And also hearing Miss Mason, I believe her name is, Homie's mom, made me think about even all the youngsters, all of the people all around, you know. You guys don't need to go to jail to know that it's going to disrupt your life, maybe ruin your life. Maybe you'll lose your family, your employment, your vehicle, maybe everything, you know. So when you see older homies talking about what we talk about, and this is for you younger people. It might be a good idea to listen, and it could save you a bunch of problems in the future. Because why? Because we've been through it. We're not just telling stories and making things up and hoping that somebody listens, and we prevent somebody from losing their freedom, losing their jobs, losing their schooling, losing their families, losing their car, their home. So, when we say what we say, we're saying it through experience and with reason. Okay, I just want to make that clear for the younger crowd, and even for people like my age. Grabbing a beer and cracking it open, and you only got like 4 or 5 blocks to go to get home, could be a problem for you, drinking and driving, especially if you have some DUIs under you. Could be all bad for you, and you could lose all these things over some bad decision we make. That being said, people, let me begin by saying God bless you. God bless your families. Stay safe. Stay free. There's so many ways to lose our freedom, and sometimes we don't even consider it that big a deal. But if it's big enough to get you locked up, big enough to get you incarcerated, where you got to pay for a lawyer or pay for bail, extra finances and stuff, then it's big enough to consider what I'm saying and consider maybe taking a different route and staying free. It's very important to our families also. So let's stay free, people, so we could be out here for our families and loved ones, and let's be careful. I know I'm going to be more careful, and I think it's very important. I could have. I just got lucky and got a sheriff that wasn't a culero, or he could have just snatched me up without no issue. I wasn't gonna let my homeboy take the beef for that beer. That was my beer. It was my responsibility to speak up and clear him and say, no, I gave it to him. That's mine. And take whatever ramifications came with that. So be careful how you move, people, and consider everything very closely. And one last thing, help others move in excellence, help the homies move in excellence. And if we're making the right moves, doing the right thing, and have the right goals in mind, and staying on the right side of the law, we won't end up incarcerated over something that we could have done without. I could have waited for that beer when I got home. So anyways, that being said, people, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. God bless you. Thank you very much.